Pokemon Winds and Waves marks the start of a new generation. This is not just another release, because with a new generation, of course we can expect new Pokemon, new forms and legends. What about the introduction of a new elemental type? How will the battle gimmick function? And what kind of secrets could this new Generation 10 region be hiding? Today's podcast is all about theories and speculation. Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. My name is DustyGogoat, and today I'm joined by TraderLumi.
Hello.
SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
And Hoops and Hip Hop.
Howdy.
What's going on, guys?
He did it. He did the thing.
He did it.
Listen, we've actually had some time to sit with the Winds and Waves news, and I think what's going to be fun today is we got a lot of theories. We have a ton of topics to speculate on. And this will be less of a reaction because we actually have planned thoughts. We've had time to digest. So I'm really excited. Let's start with our first topic. This would be the idea that because this is a brand new Pokemon generation, we could get a brand new Pokemon type. I think every single generation is an opportunity for something major, a big shakeup. And we don't often see a new Pokemon type. And I do think a lot of people are, I feel like the idea of a new type is often dismissed because it just happens so infrequently. But we did get the fairy type about at the dawn in the very first games that we got for the 3DS. And I just don't think it's that impossible for us to receive a new type. There's tons of new theories popping up. I will say sound type seemed for maybe a day and a half like a lock because we got a new form, a new battle form of Rotom in Pokopia. But I think that dream has died because that Rotom is confirmed to be normal type. But now we're starting to see some theories bubble up about the potential of a light type. So I'd love to start this conversation. The idea is, could we see, I guess it's one, could we see a new type? And then B, why does the light type kind of make sense? What does the light type even mean? And also with this conversation, it's if we get a new type, we're getting a new evolution, right? That's also going to happen.
Absolutely. I think we're getting a new evolution, whether we're getting a new type or not.
Okay, great.
To be completely honest. But
let's talk about that today. That sounds fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So who wants to start off?
I mean, RIP to the sound type, just to start.
I know.
Because I know when DJ Rotom was revealed to be normal and electric, I was like, man, Dusty's dreams and hope. I didn't even want to message you. I just wanted to be like, yeah,
dude, it felt real for a hot second because I clocked that it was a battle form, and it did feel so special. And obviously, it was confirmed to be a proper. I mean, we can't battle with these, but what I'm saying is it's a proper form
yet.
Yeah, you can't battle with it yet. I honestly don't even know if we're going to be able to battle with this thing, but
no,
it is a new.
Totally
it is a true Rotom form, right? It's not a bike Rotom. It's a true Rotom form, and they even gave it a new type. And I was happy to see that, but also a little disappointed because if we were ever going to get a sound type, I think now is the time we would have gotten it.
I bring it up because I think sound type has the best merit to have a new type, or is just it would be the most pleasing.
It's almost the most obvious. Yeah. It would be satisfying because there's a lot of things that would fit very nicely into that archetype.
Mm-hmm. But instead, they really confirmed that the normal type is the sound type.
That said, though, I don't know, because I also found myself always thinking about the sound type that there were some Pokemon that yes, they fit it really well, but they also Toxtricity is the best example. Toxtricity really fits the sound type. Its abilities based off sound and all that, but it also very much fits the poison electric type. I mean, its name is literally coming from toxic and electricity. And then also, I don't know, I think that the sound type does work best as being this subtype of moves that some moves fall into, and they have certain gimmicks with them, like they can go through substitute, and there's different types of them, of course Boom Burst and Hyper Voice are normal type ones, but Overdrive is an electric type move that is also sound. Bug Buzz is also sound. I like that the sound type didn't happen. I would have been pretty upset if it did happen. But the light type seems I don't know. People are saying that it seems like it could really happen. I am of the camp, and I know that this is kind of a downer take, but I am of the camp that it won't happen because it wasn't in the Terra League.
Yeah, but
No.
I
No,
just feel like it
no,
would
no,
have
no,
been,
no, no.
you know?
The Terra League has already gotten things wrong. No.
What
This
we know
isn't
from-
like
things can
get
happen.
right or get wrong. You know what I mean? I feel like something this big would have been, there'd been some kind of inkling of it somewhere in there. And again, I could totally be wrong. I'm just saying, like, my gut reaction is nah.
That Terra League it's over 2 years old at this point, potentially 3 years old. Like things
Yeah,
a
but
lot of it-
it's
a lot
something
of it's
that
from
would have been
2021
planned
even.
very early on, I
okay,
feel like.
great.
Yeah.
5 years old. Yeah, those things change. All I'm saying is, like, I don't think just because it's not in the Terra League, it can't happen.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
It's
because
the hardest
in the
evidence
Terra League, I
against
don't
it
think
as
it's
well.
happening.
Yeah.
No,
It's the hardest evidence against it,
But
unfortunately.
I'm
don't
not
think
saying
so.
that it can't. I'm not.
I don't think it's
I'm not
evidence.
going to sit here and hard definitively say,
Sure.
guys, it's not going to happen. I'm saying because it's not in
Yeah.
the Terra League, I'm leaning no.
What I'm saying is, like, the absence of something doesn't prove that it cannot happen. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it
Yeah,
not exist. Not, it
agree.
not being there doesn't mean it hasn't been. Anyways,
I agree.
Yeah.
like, I just got so.
I
triggered
just
on
think it
that.
doesn't look as good.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay,
I
that's
had a
fair.
thought too, and Lumi, you just messed
Can-
me up. I don't even know what it
Can we establish, like, why people are talking about the light type?
There's a lot of stuff. Light seems to be a big theme in Gen 10. Just from what we know from the trailer and from the from the Terra League as well. Like, one thing that was shown off here, you're showing it right now, is some Pokemon literally have like a light effect, like Slugma and Sizzlipede. They emit light from certain part of their bodies. In Slugma's case, its entire body, and so there's this glow to it. Then the gimmick symbol that we saw is a rainbow, and there also seems to be a lot of rainbow themes. And rainbows are ultimately, like, you know, it deals with light. It's like, you know, a prism, all that stuff. You know, you stay in school, kids. Listen to your science teacher. But there's that just off the top of my head. There's also some stuff that I think we're going to get into a little bit, like how to kind of tie in recent games into this. Pokopia has some stuff about a yellow Shellos, and it makes you think, like, are they, you know, is this somehow connected to a type? And if it was, maybe electricity would work, but light
maybe
also
he's like a little glowing Shellos. You
makes
know?
sense. Yeah, exactly. Like, there was a location in the game, in the Terra League. There was like a data mine location called the Neon Abyss. So light,
Ooh.
neon.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, the neon type.
Oh, that'd be a good way to
That'd be fun.
name it for sure. I would say one more little point of proof, which is in the symbols of, like, winds and waves. There's always a sun in, like, I'm talking about, like, the winds and waves symbols, like the ones on the characters. So, like, on the waves, there's the waves, and then there's a sun, and then in the winds, it's like the winds is over the sun. Which, I mean, it's a circle. You could say it's a sun, but
It is a sun, because I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not showing the proper trailer. This is just like, you know, when they show the two characters, you can see the sun in the background when
Right.
they're showing those two characters going on their adventure. And what I clocked was in the logo,
Right.
you can see this burst of light in a similar to what we see in the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon logos, where you can see the silhouette or half of the silhouette of what is revealed to be Ultra Necrozma. And so,
And you can see that even more in the Japanese symbols too, or logos.
well, now I'm wondering. Now I'm wondering. I'm like, okay, well, maybe this wouldn't be indicative of a new type, but instead is like the box legend, or like the third legendary, the threat, like the antagonist legendary Pokemon going to be the sun, fire, right?
Yeah. Well, it all ties in.
Jump in at any point. I know we, I know we're rattling things off, but I know you got ideas.
No, you guys are doing good. I'm kind of like, for me, when it comes to a new type, you gotta give me like a high burden of proof to convince me, because I'm totally not against a new type, because obviously that's such a cool thing to do. But every type that is brought up, and the light type is probably the best of the options that have been proposed, but they all kind of just don't quite sound like a Pokemon type to me. Like with light, for instance, again, it was it was like the best one to do. But then they brought in Fairy, which is sort of a stand-in light type. And to me, I feel like it accomplishes a lot of what the light type would do. So I'm just not, like, while I would totally be up for it, I'm not 100% convinced that something like that would happen. And then I look at certain Pokemon like Ultra Necrozma, for instance. It's like, how are we going to put out a Pokemon like that and not make it a light type if we're ever going to do a light type? Like, retyping this as light would kind of feel like it would be very appropriate, but it would feel weird because it's like, why was that not light before? Like, how did you not realize that, you know?
I mean, the counter to that is there's Pokemon like Lugia, who is psychic flying type, even though it presents traits of an aquatic dragon.
Oh, that's so different, though.
Type.
It lives in the water is so different from it's a being made of light. You know, like Lugia's not made of water. If it was made out of water, I'd be right there with you. But like, I don't know, this is so different. And I feel like, because with the fairy typing, we saw them retype old Pokemon, and pretty much for every case, correct me if I'm wrong, it was either a monostage Pokemon or a monotype Pokemon they added the fairy type to. So like Jigglypuff was normal, it now becomes normal fairy, or they replaced like the normal typing on something with fairy. Like Togepi was a normal type and it got replaced with fairy. And I feel like all of that feels pretty organic. Like you can replace the normal type or you can add it, but replacing dragon or psychic with light would feel really weird.
Would it though?
That's an interesting
to
idea.
me, it doesn't at all, because I don't and have never seen Necrozma as, especially Ultra Necrozma, as a psychic type.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
I agree.
This is. I remember what I was going to say earlier. You were talking about Toxtricity and how it should be a sound type, but it has those other two types. That would never change. I don't think if they introduced a sound type, they wouldn't be like, oh, we're going to give it to Toxtricity now. No, it would just get sound type moves and all that.
Yeah.
But the Poison Electric would stay. They, like you just said, they wouldn't change the majority of things. Even in that list that I put up there, it's like only the ones that didn't have dual typing or like were just so strongly light type that they would actually change it. So going back to my original thought of Necrozma, it's like, I think that psychic type actually, because many people, like Hoops just said, think that fairy type is the like light type, but it's not really. It's actually the psychic type. Psychic type's like subtype is light a lot of times, I think personally. So that's why they just instantly were like, okay, it has to have the psychic type because it's our light type in a way, like enlightenment, I guess, in a way. But to me, it never needed to be psychic type. I think it could have been Dragon Light easily at that point. I do agree that they should have done it then.
I think it's psychic type because it is, I mean, because that, I guess, those legendary Pokemon are all of space, you know? Like, they have a higher degree of intelligence. I think a lot of space Pokemon are the psychic type. We've discussed on this podcast before about like the cosmic type and how that is really a subtype of psychic. I guess I never really thought light as a subtype of really anything. Light to me
not
feels
a subtype for what that's worth.
Yeah,
Light is
I feel like light is.
I mean,
don't even know.
It's somewhat is though, because it's the same idea as the sound type. That's why there's so many like people that are like it's either sound or light type. Like those are the two strongest ones because there are so many Pokemon that are like light based, and I'm talking about like actual light, not like like goodness. Even though goodness is also an option, but it's more like actual physical light. But there's moves that are like light type moves that are like sound type moves that aren't actually either. They're just like based on that. So it's like a lot of those. That's why people say fairy, because a lot of fairy type moves have like light in the name or whatever. But there's a lot of other ones that Flash Cannon is a steel type move that is
I think maybe it's like I think the language or like the words that we're putting onto these types is kind of what English. It's kind of what. Well, I wasn't even thinking English. I just mean in general, like what does the light type mean? The festivities have begun. Pokemon is celebrating its 30th year anniversary in the TCG. The trading card game is a huge part of the celebration. This episode is brought to you by our friends, Awesome CCG. It's my local card shop. These guys are the best, and there's so many new sets coming out. The latest Pokemon TCG set is Mega Evolution Perfect Order, Mega Skarmory, Mega Clefable, Mega Zygarde. This whole set is themed around Pokemon Legends ZA. Once this set drops, you can get these cards for yourself using the link in the description. But guess what? I kind of lied. The actual latest Pokemon TCG set is Ninja Spinner. It's only available in Japanese, but you can get it right now. You don't even need to wait. This is why I love Awesome CCG. They always have the latest cards. And as a bonus, Hidden Power listeners, you can head to the link in the description or the pinned comment, and at checkout, use code Hidden Power. One word, to get 5% off regularly priced merchandise, which is pretty nice considering how expensive Pokemon cards can be right now. So check out your local shop. If you're in New Hampshire or Massachusetts, let them know Hidden Power sent you. And everything that they have in store is also available on their website. So go check that out and get your 5% off. Thank you, Awesome CCG, for sponsoring. We think of light as you turn your lights on or the sunlight. And that feels like it's either electricity or it's fire. Or maybe it's an energy, but I don't know. Like we just said the word neon earlier. I have no idea really what that could imply, but there could be another word that is a little bit better or like a little bit more, I don't know, all encompassing. I feel like the fairy type didn't make sense, but listen, 15 years later, fairy type, we've all come to accept it, but that was kind of random at the time. It seemed as weird as like bug type. It's like, wow, you can make a bug a type. And it's
fairy type I was like, fairy type? What are we doing? I was like that's the most random thing.
If we were talking about the grass type, we'd be like, well, this is stupid. Like just, okay, there's a bunch of Pokemon that are like blades of grass. Like this is stupid, you know? I think it had, yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at with just like the idea of a new type in general, because like, I hear, like, to me, the branding of it is a big deal, because it's like you guys are saying, like, it's got to sound like a Pokemon type. It's got to feel like it's got to feel like it, like, is worthy of being included, basically. And light, it kind of, like, I would say it would be much more convincing if, again, Fairy wasn't there, because Fairy does kind of feel the role in a way, not all the way, but it kind of does. But when we have these conversations of like sound type or light type or cosmic type, like in my opinion, none of them quite, I'm like, oh yes, that could be a type, or yes, that sounds like a type. Maybe it's just the word you're using. Maybe instead of cosmic, it's some other word, or instead of sound, it's some other word. But I feel like there's none of these quite have the feel to me, but maybe that's kind of like what you guys are saying, where it's like you got to get used to it because it's such a new
it's a little bit of both.
You can't really quantify, because like I think I can't really remember how I felt when fairy type was first revealed, but I can definitely see that being a thing where it's like you got to get used to it, and then once you do, you're like, oh yeah, this is fine. So the one thing I will say really quick though is, I think the best argument for a new type is not just like, oh, let's make a new type and what type would be cool. It's basically the same thing they did with fairy type. They made the fairy type because dragon needed to be balanced out. So
exactly,
look at the balancing and what you can kind of mess with there to make things more well-rounded. And one thing that I have always thought could be more well-rounded is bring in something that can help out the ice type, because the ice type is infamously a type that's just like broken. It sucks, like it needs help. So bringing in something that can maybe boost it up a little bit, or another type similar to that, I think is like the first step in finding out, okay, what type could actually work.
I completely agree. I feel like because the one time we got a new type in the modern era, it was to nerf other things. I feel like that's where the conversation is always, but I love what you're saying, which is any type that you bring in will have a purpose, because it's going to change the entire landscape and it will disrupt the existing meta and make lesser types potentially better. There's so many types that are, I feel like, underutilized or just not that. I feel like Psychic's not even that good anymore. Poison type's not very good, I don't think. maybe it's good because it's good against fairy, but I feel like poison types underrepresented or underutilized. Ice type's a great example. I feel like rock is pretty overlooked because of how frail it is.
Rock, bug, and ice are like the ones.
I think grass as well. I think though that honestly, a lot of this boils down to, for one, in some cases, I think it's like a thing of there just aren't the best Pokemon backing that typing. Like I think about with the poison type, there's not a ton of Pokemon that are like huge threats that have the poison type, but you'd still see like Glamora is a very good mon, and it's poison rock, mind you.
I know.
But and who knows how it'll be now that it has a mega. But I think that they just honestly need to revisit the typing chart and tweak it a little bit. I don't think we need a full overhaul, but there's some things like I think that ice being super effective against water, which is a pretty dominant type. I think that could make a lot of sense. I mean, you think about when it gets cold outside, lakes freeze over.
Yeah.
Ice can beat water. That makes sense to me. But instead, water resists ice.
Yeah.
So
ultimately with champions, I think a couple years from now, maybe even sooner, I think they will do what you're saying. And like, that's what we all really want, what you just said, which is just like, just change a few type weaknesses and how they affect each other. You know, like that, like a little overhaul, like a mini overhaul of like,
let bug resist fairy, not vice versa, you know?
Yeah. That's really what we want. But I will say, just because we're talking about the light type in general, or just a new type in general, which is, I think that it's valid's not the right word, but it's valid that we got a new type. We got two new types in Steel and Dark, like towards the beginning. Then it took years to get a new type, which was Fairy. And yes, these were for balancing issues. And now it's been a long time since we've got a type.
Probably the same amount of time.
I was
gonna say, sorry to interrupt you. But,
no, go for it.
But they dropped Steel and Dark in 99, and then we got Fairy type in 2013. That was 14 years. It will be 14 years when Winds and Waves comes out since we got the Fairy type. So
that's literally. That's just a reason in itself, and it's just to shake up the type chart. Do you know what I mean? Like, so even if it wasn't
to shake it up, though, I think it
no.
was
I'm saying this would be. I'm saying this would be.
Okay.
I'm not saying that those were too balanced.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying like it would just be like,
those are the same thing.
Those are quite literally the opposite.
Another thing to bring up, and I hate to be I'm like the devil's advocate, I guess, like the negative devil's advocate, but it also makes me wonder if they would bring in a new type after we just did the whole stellar type thing, and it's not an actual type,
and Terapagos's whole design having the types on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that will stop them from
I look at that as the opposite.
Yeah, I don't think it will ever either, but like I feel like if because they kind of know things ahead of time, right? Especially because Terapagos was a DLC mon. So I think that they would have not made his design feel so definitive if they literally were, while making it, knowing we're going to do a new type next game, you know? But again, I want to be very clear. I don't think Terapagos means you're never going to see a new type again. It's never going to happen, literally ever. Now, like Pokemon's the highest grossing media franchise in the world. It's going to go on for a very, very long time. It very well might outlive everyone in this call right now. And if it does, of course, at some point.
I hope so.
That's Pokopia. I almost see that the other way, where it's like the final send off of this era where there are these types of types, and also like Stellar type. While saying they've marketed that as a new type, even though it's not really a new type, I think I don't think any weird thing from 5 to 10 years ago is ever going to stop them from being like, you know what, let's add something new.
Well, definitely like years down the line, but the timing with that being just barely what we did in the last generation, it feels
just before
like it could
but
work.
It will have been 40 years like in the past when this game comes out.
But what about developing the game? It would have been like, as they're developing it, like ideally they probably had a team start on Gen 10 right after Scarlet and Violet was finished. So like there was probably a point where DLC was being developed, which is where Terapagos was introduced, while they're developing Gen 10. And I feel like a new type would be something that gets brought up relatively early in that process. I feel like, again, like Terapagos just, I feel like they wouldn't have thrown all the typings on it.
I think a new type feels like a big deal to us, but like a new type actually would be something that just pops up in some sort of they could be building this and they're like, okay, this is good, this is good, this is good, and then they start working on, okay, all the light's refracting when you're underwater, the light looks different when you're in the sky. It's kind of a mechanical thing. The Pokemon are going to be able to like emit light, and then they go, you know what? Let's take this a step further. What if there's certain Pokemon that have like the light type? Like that's something that could just pop up at any point. And this is also why I don't think it not existing in the Terra League is a reason why it can't happen.
I don't think that, because the typings of Pokemon are so important to the game that I don't think that it is something they'd bring up all willy-nilly like that, Like
it's not willy-nilly.
Like,
it's not willy-nilly.
I mean, like, what if there was a new type,
No,
I'll say the opposite.
That is how every idea happens. Like it's not, I just want to be clear, like that it's not willy-nilly. Just because it happens a couple years into development, like an idea could show up to solve something for the product of the game. They're not thinking specifically about VGC. These ideas don't come up because of VGC.
Yeah, more than VGC, balance is just something that exists outside of VGC. It's in your playthrough. It's in, you don't want to use Pokemon that feel, like a lot of people, non-VGC players, struggle to use. I mean, you see Chikorita being like one of the most hated Pokemon of all time unfairly because it's hard to use in Johto,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry.
What I was going to say is I see both sides of it. Just because I'm on the defense side, I think that them thinking about the stellar type, they probably had planned it, but them thinking about it makes me think they're thinking about a new type.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
They're actually totally thinking about, we want to make a new type, and maybe this is a little bit of a stretch, but maybe they tried the stellar type and they were like, this isn't really it, and they could a light type could also be called
stellar. Yeah, stellar literally
a light
feels
type
like
could
a
be
type.
called the stellar type. Just saying, they could build on it and make it an actual type. Now I do think that I see the other side of it, which is it just happened, so it is like
stellar type. That's what I'm.
Yeah. No, because hear me out. When Fairy was introduced, Whimsicott was introduced in Gen 5, and then the next game they retconned it.
Yeah, but that's different. That's not a Pokemon
Why
with
is
all
that different?
typings plastered all over its back.
I think it has nothing to do with Terapagos. I'm not bringing Terapagos.
I think it has nothing to do with Terapagos.
But
sorry,
to be clear, I wasn't saying I dislike Stellar. I dislike the term Stellar type because that thing was not a type. You know what I mean? And I don't blame anyone for using it because the Pokemon company calls it the Stellar type. It wasn't a type.
I think technically it was the Stellar Terra type.
Yeah, I think that's right. But either way, it was a stupid decision that was made. That's how I refer to it.
I was just gonna say that's kind of a good example of, and this is like the design marketing part of my brain working because I'm a YouTuber that makes. This is like what I look at when I look at Pokemon a lot of the time is like the design and like the philosophy and the origins and all that stuff, because it's just, to me, it's got to feel like it fits, and like the name Stellar to me sounds much more exciting and like it works as the name for a type better than just light. So
light,
like,
I agree.
And they could just call it light because again, this is like the best example we have of like what a new type could be, I think. But I think there is definitely that factor. Like you can't just name anything a type and expect it to be a type. Like it's gotta feel like it fits. It's gotta sound like it fits. And
let me try something right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to make some loose connections between when a new type is introduced and the game. Okay, say it with me, class. What is the theme of Pokemon X and Y?
Beauty,
evolution. Or beauty.
What does Fairy type remind you of?
Fairies.
Beauty.
Beauty.
Fairly good. Get it.
And then Flabébé evolves. Evolution. Okay. And then you got Gold and Silver introducing a metal or steel type, which is a metal, which is what Gold and Silver are, metals. And then I'm at a loss when it comes to
here's another
type.
Here's another thing.
Well, it's the evil
and
type
so
here.
Here's another thing though, because like in the TCG they call the steel type the metal type, and I hate the term metal type. they call it lightning type instead of electric type. I hate
I know why.
Those don't sound like Pokemon types, but
Yeah.
and maybe it's just because I'm used to it. But like steel type does, electric type does. So it's like the word you use is a huge deal. Like so, if they find a good word, they can.
I don't know. Steel was pretty stupid too.
Well.
It's just steel.
No, I like.
I mean,
it's
I don't
hard.
know. It's
hard
probably
in-
just because I'm used to it again. But like to me, steel type sounds way better than metal type because metal
sounds generic.
To me, it sounds generic, and it also sounds like we're running a D&D campaign, which is not what Pokemon is. Like,
wow, shots fired! Let us know in the comments if you watch, if you play.
That's
D&D.
no shade. It's just like it's a different vibe. Like I need the
it's a different. I totally get that.
So
if they wanted to call it the metal typing in a Legends game, I could get behind that. No.
Yeah. There's frostbite and there's
but grass and
drowsiness.
flying like is also that way though, right? Like because grass is like it almost feels like the grass type should be like the plant type or something because.
But I kind of like that.
Flying type is kind of inconsistent too.
Yeah. Well,
you guys talked recently about like flying versus bird in a semi-recent episode. And that's actually a good. I think it's a good distinction of kind of how they think about types because obviously with flying, it's like they were going to call it bird type, but they switched to flying because obviously more stuff flies than just a bird. And then you have the distinction of like, well, we're calling it flying type, but what about air? So
Mantine.
there's a flying
Gyarados.
versus air element.
Yeah,
and. That to me, I mean, you could have a whole conversation about that, but that to me again speaks to the branding of it. And air, once again, it sounds more generic. It sounds more like fantasy D&D type.
Yeah, it's just like a generic term that anyone could.
I think wind could have worked really well.
I feel like flying is like it's just kind of a thing that is unique to Pokemon. Like it's a term, and it's also something like we got to remember. Pokemon is like the game that like introduces kids to RPGs. So like they've got to use terminology that anyone can understand. And when you hear the term like flying, you're going to think in the air, like you're going to think all of that really easy.
All of the types are named after something specific. So you can, again, specifically imagine what the power is that it grants.
And it's
flying.
Something,
if you say air, air or wind, you can't, again, it's like, you could think of a bunch of different things, but when you say flying, you just imagine, oh, I know what flying. It's a superpower. I can lift up into the air.
Right. And you can almost
same
think
thing for
of,
grass.
You can almost
it's like
think
the one
of the types like superpowers. Like, okay, so like flying, it allows me to fly. Electric, I have electric powers. Fire, I can breathe fire. You know.
Yeah, I think some of the types get a little bit weird, but fairy even makes sense. Like fairy it's like you imagine a little pixie, like magical creature.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's
where if
it's
it was called the magic type, that could be anything.
Yeah, and it's got to be simple enough that again, like this is a game for general audiences. Anyone, including kids, can get the idea of what you're going for.
Yep. So, well, okay, I got a couple points to make, but what I was trying to say earlier was maybe the idea. So, like maybe a light type. Hold on, what were we talking about? We're talking about. I was saying
light type.
Steel type is a metal like gold and silver. These are very soft, just for the record. Very soft connections that I'm making right off the top of my head. You've got beauty being the theme of the Kalos games, and you've got a new type to represent that with fairy. Now, what we've heard is that winds and waves, the theme on the back end, the driving force, the overarching idea that Game Freak is thinking about when making Winds and Waves is this idea of infinity. And I don't know, I think about light. I think about, I mean, don't they, what is like light speed, right?
Yeah.
I think about like, light going on forever. When you look at the stars outside, you're seeing something from, what do they say, like thousands of years in the past?
It's kind of funny that we're talking about the light type and the sound type as like the big candidates. And they would actually pair very well together as two types you could bring in at the same time because you got speed of light, speed of sound. Like that could have been a good opportunity.
Cool. Yeah.
But but you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like whatever it's gonna be, if anything, it should probably have something to do with what this game's about,
right?
Or what they're thinking about on the back end.
I mean, that's why I think that the biggest evidence for it is actually the Japanese logos, and like the gimmick symbol is like literally a rainbow. And we're talking about like
Yeah, like
it's made it's like it's light, you know.
But see,
so
that
it's,
would be gimmick related though, not the new type. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but
Mega
that could
Evolution has
be-
nothing to do with Fairy,
right,
even though they're the
but
same gen.
that's fair to say. But we don't know like what the gimmick is, or you know, if it
We know
could
it's
be
like related to
that.
weather, right? That's from the Terra Leak.
Yeah, which is kind of related to that though, isn't it? Because the rainbow is
don't think so.
a result of weather.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like
gosh.
the light type's just not. It's not.
What is it?
Sticks for me.
I just had an epiphany, which is a really good segue into the whole gimmick, what the gimmick could be, because I did a video which will be out by the time this pod drops, basically about like trying to visualize and interpret what this new gimmick could be based on what we know about it, what we can infer, and what the community has kind of come up with to this point. And basically there is an idea or a rumor going around that the gimmick is going to center around something called like reborn forms, and it's going to be like your Pokemon faints and then comes back. That's the gist of it. It gets a stat boost.
Would someone send me this rumor? I keep hearing about it and I haven't seen it.
I can explain
I made a video on my channel.
I could explain it to you in depth because, again, I did a video on it.
Please.
But so basically, there's a
Wait,
rumor.
you covered this, Hoops?
I made a video that's coming out this weekend.
About this rumor?
It is out
yes.
for the people listening to the video. It is not out
it is
for
out.
the people in this call talking right now.
in the video.
Yeah.
It's not out for the
So-
people.
so
We're in the
basically-
past.
I covered it right here.
Yeah.
Beep.
So basically, the rumor is that the gimmick of this game will have to do with something called reborn forms, and there will be an item that your Pokemon can hold, and what it will do is when your Pokemon faints, it will use that item to be able to like come back and like be revived basically, and it will gain a stat boost, so it'll be kind of like a Mega Evolution, I would assume, but maybe not that crazy.
Not
but
that
then
strong, yeah.
your Pokemon can't switch out after that. And also, as a part of this, some of these Pokemon, like every Pokemon will be able to use it, but some of them will gain new forms, and they'll be called reborn forms.
I love this.
I mean, the idea seemed interesting. It seemed like there were maybe some connections, so I started looking into it a little bit. And there is actually a lot of evidence that fits perfectly to the point where I'm like convinced that this very well could be the thing.
I love it so much.
The only thing I was tripping up on was the whole weather dynamic, because we've known and we've heard from the Terra Leak that it's going to have something to do with weather. And this whole idea of reborn forms doesn't relate to weather. But when you just said that the symbol has the rainbow in it, it hit me. Because the whole idea that I kind of looked into, and I think this is how it could shake out, is because if you look at the symbol of the gimmick, it's got this like this shape to it that kind of looks like a wave, but it's like this like
Oh my god.
it's this interesting symbol. And you guys talked about it, I believe, with Loxton. That symbol looks like what is called it's referred to in Japan as a hagoromo, and it's like this like it's this piece of clothing that's like it's like silky and wavy, and in Japanese media specifically, you see it on characters when they achieve some kind of like divine level, like sort of like a godhood, like they level up, they become like divine in some way, and they get this like type of godly type of clothing basically. And that lines up with reborn forms, obviously, because you're coming back, you're becoming like godlike basically. And that also could obviously lend itself very well to Pokemon getting new forms. That kind of goes with this theme, so it all fits really well together. And again, I wasn't sure what the whole weather dynamic had to do with it, but if you factor in the rainbow, that is obviously the result of weather, and rainbow can very easily also equate with like heavenly imagery, like divine imagery, you know? So mechanics aside, thematically, I think that all fits together like perfectly.
this is gorgeous because this also all ties into this concept that Game Freak has talked about, or they haven't talked about it publicly, but that was taken from the Terra League. This idea of infinity and what is being reborn, right? It's like this idea that we're constantly reborn, reincarnation.
Yeah. And the other thing is
and I think
the other thing that fits with that, with the whole theme, is we've heard in the Terra League that that theme is being pushed because the legendaries are supposed to be an old man and an old woman, but then we apparently have this young little seed Pokemon. And then we've also heard that you apparently have, we don't know if this will actually be the case, obviously, but apparently we might have a sibling that's like a little baby, like a young sibling, as opposed to we're older. So there's this theme of young and old and rebirth, So it to me it sounds that could be it.
And I also I also think the weather ties into this, and I've been kind of on the fence about whether or not understanding these legendary Pokemon or understanding that the gimmick is tied to weather, as I feel like that almost seems there's room for that to be a misinterpretation. But I think the way I'm seeing this now, in line with what you're saying, is that the legendary Pokemon they have the power of weather, and so if rebirth is the gimmick of Generation 10, when your Pokemon falls and is reborn, you have the choice to bestow a specific power of a specific weather source, right? From that legendary Pokemon, which is again into this idea of reincarnation or reinterpretation, or it's like as human beings, right? As we evolve, as we grow, we change. We can redefine who we are and what we want to be in this life. Not to get a little too wishy-washy right there, but that is I feel like that is like a lesson.
For sure. Yeah, but they like to tell us the lessons.
Yeah,
too,
I think that gets me pumped, dude, for rebirth. It really does.
I would like this gimmick for sure. It is interesting enough.
I think,
and you could look at Healing Wish, or what is Palmot's ability, or
that's what it is. Move? That's basically what it's based off of.
Yeah, it's signature move.
Revival Blessing. Which is interesting that it's called that as well. Yeah, it's interesting that it's called that because, they like to leave little cheeky things, little hints here and there. And it's called Revival Blessing, from blessing, some kind of God is blessing you. And that's been a whole theory with this gimmick for a while.
Another recovery prayer in Japanese.
Recovery prayer is even better.
And this is why I am convinced Windy Chew and Wavy Chew have been reborn by the legendary
Raijin
Pokemon.
And Fujin. That's who these two in this image are.
This
Raijin
is Windy Chew and
Fujin,
Wavy Chew, dude. This is Windy Chew and Wavy Chew. Oh boy, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding.
I'm not convinced that it'll be Rebirth. I think it'll genuinely. I know it sounds weird to say it'll be something weather related because weather is already a gimmick, so to speak, in Pokemon.
This is weather related, though.
I'm not seeing it. I feel like it's going too far outside of that realm.
No.
Listen, it's much more spot on.
The legendary Pokemon, winds and waves. I mean, I feel like that is is that not weather? I don't know.
It is, but I'm saying the rebirth thing specifically just doesn't.
So it comes from the legendary Pokemon. Your Pokemon in battle faints, and you can now you can become reborn through the power of the legendary Pokemon, which harnesses the power of weather.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but I'm saying I think the gimmick will be weather related, not
that is weather related.
Who also is related to the weather. That feels like too many.
It's a bit broad.
That's like
I don't think it's broad at all.
It's a turtle gimmick because it's related to a turtle. No, but it's not a turtle gimmick. And now is it? No,
but
I'm saying broad is actually a positive for our camp. I think Lumi, you can't get too hung up on it saying that it's just a weather gimmick.
I don't think it
could be so broad that it could be anything.
I think it's going to be something that impacts the environment of the battle. Is I guess what I'm saying.
That's fair because of the theming.
Well, this is a great conversation, but you know what else is great? All the lovely people out there.
Avocado toast. I'm sorry. What?
Avocado toast is good too. But no, the people out there, they're even, dare I say it, they might even just be better than avocado toast. They're showing up every week, watching the video, which is enough, but then they go above and beyond. They subscribe, they share. And some of you go even beyond that, and you actually invest in the show, which is incredible.
Guys, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you
Wait. But before you do the Poke Rap, I really do want to say it does mean a lot. Like like,
Genuinely,
if you're listening right now, like you're part of the secret club. Like this is actually no, I'm sorry. This is
if you're listening, you may not be a part of it.
You know what? I thought we were doing a Patreon episode.
No.
I thought we were doing a Patreon. That doesn't make any sense. You're right. You're right. Good point.
Secret club.
Ignore me.
You can be a part of the secret club he speaks of.
Yes.
We want to thank all of y'all who are a part of it, but specifically we want to shout out our mythical tier members: Ryan Cornett, Highlander, Tyler Low 15, Case, Duke Norton, Normal Guy, Nicholas Taylor, SEHR Gold, Nathan Shorter, Louis Gervais, Jim Renegade, Chief Keith, Ball Guy, Father Dagda, Doom Typhlosion, Slowbroke Fan 24, The Real Pokegod, Steven 3338, Scoodio, and the Pokekiddo 1. We'll give a special shout out to our Arceus tier supporter, Red. And we want to give we don't know the name of this gimmick, but a Gen 10 gimmick.
A rebirth gimmick.
PETA, maybe? A PETA size shout out to, it's a big organization, to our Game Freak Inc. members, Bramtastic, Young Smokey, and Young Smokey. Said it twice because he's a supporter both on YouTube and Patreon. Thank you all so much. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much.
You guys, you guys really do make a difference. Listen, if you want, this show is run by you guys. We're able to do so many weird, wacky episodes. Because you guys show up and support, and we're able to put out all these episodes. And if you want to be a producer of the podcast, you can join at one of these higher tiers. And if you want to get in at the ground level to get access to an entire new podcast every single week, the next episode that you're going to be getting as a Patreon or YouTube channel member supporter is a full hour discussion about, honestly, a bunch of things with hoops and hip hop. That video is going to be going up next. You can get access to a whole extra podcast every single week at that $5 tier, as well as access to our secret Discord, and there's a ton of other perks over there. We appreciate you guys. We're still going. We're about to start our 4th year. Actually, I say about to, but I guess we're 6 months. I don't know what I'm saying. This is a crazy episode.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
We're 4.5 in about.
Yeah.
4.25.
We've been able to go a long time because of you guys. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Man, dude, I sound cooked out right now. I sound honestly insane.
Secret club.
All right, we gotta get back to the episode. I'm gonna keep bantering. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
I think it's all theming of Pokemon impacting their environment and all too. I just feel like rebirth forms is the thing that gets thrown around every single generation. That's like the fans.
Does it?
I've
never heard of it.
People are always
I've
talking
literally never
about
heard of that.
Find a way to your Pokemon is reborn as a what was it? There was someone who did really talented fan artists. They did this whole region that was based off Africa, and that was like, or Egypt specifically, and that was like the gimmick of the like little fan. It wasn't actually a game; it was like a concept, but that they created was like rebirth forms. Like it's been a very popular desire amongst fans, and I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's something to do with storms. Rainbows are often seen after storms. If you wanted to get into mythology, there's, obvious like biblical stuff between storms and the rainbow. I feel like it's going to be much more spot on, something impacting the environment. Nothing to do with the Pokemon fanning, nothing to do with the Pokemon reviving.
I love this idea of like basically, like in my mind, I see it as your Pokemon falls and you have a choice now to choose between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different types of light energy. Something on the spectrum of the rainbow that we see right here. And yeah, it's like depending on which one you choose, it's like a different weather.
I got
and the red one
for you,
all the way on the left
is
like goopy lava, and that's the Pikachu that we saw in the Terra League. You know?
I definitely, like, you're right there where I'm thinking as well, Dusty. The connection, Lumi, would be you, like, your Pokemon faints, the godlike Pokemon brings them back and bestows upon them the power of a certain weather thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, once they're back, they get,
you have the power of the weather.
That affects the environment.
That sounds.
I can fall into that a lot easier. Yeah.
I don't know why they would need to
I didn't even think about it like
faint and revive, but you know.
I don't think it could be. It could be like you have to be under 25% or something. I think it's just dramatic.
True.
And it also makes it different from the other battle gimmicks where it's like all the other ones, you just press a button and you can do it whenever. But like with this,
it's more interesting for sure.
It's like you have to time it out a little bit, you know? And then and it's like maybe you have
that does sound fun, actually.
I don't know. Like,
Here's another-
No, that does. It's interesting.
Here's another thing that I found this out when I was researching my video, and it really kind of won me over with this whole idea. But you talk about the timing. So like theoretically, you could have a team of 6 Pokemon, and your last Pokemon is the one that you decide to use the Reborn form with. So it faints, and now it comes back. Well, now that Reborn form is like a 7th Pokemon because it's coming back after you've had 6. Well, guess what? The number 7 is like super like spiritual and significant as far as like gods and stuff like that, because obviously there's the whole idea that God created the earth in 7 days, and it's like there's a ton of symbolism there. So the connection between 7 and this whole idea of like divineness and godliness and all that stuff, it's just another layer of like this fits together so well, and that to me is like feels like a very Game Freak thing to do. And it also would be like a very like appealing kind of aspect of the mechanic as a whole, because it's now we're not just getting a form, or we're not getting a gimmick that gives us new forms of Pokemon. We're getting a gimmick that allows us to have a 7th Pokemon, which shakes things up like a lot. So,
dude, that is kind of
what's funny. What's really funny about it is like last gen, it was like you get a third, or what is it, like a new type, like a different type, and now you get a new Pokemon, like a 7th.
And they're not
Pokemon.
really either of those.
And look at and look at what the other gimmicks do. Like a lot of the time, the gimmicks they're basically like tweaking or playing with a core mechanic of Pokemon battles, or just like Pokemon in general. So like Mega Evolution, Pokemon that are fully evolved can evolve again. Like that's taking a core concept and messing with it. Moves, Z moves, it's like your Pokemon now has like a 5th move. That's a core concept, we're messing with it. This would be, you can have 6 Pokemon on your team at one time. Let's mess with it and give you like a sort of like a 7th Pokemon. Like it really does.
I love that.
Fit well.
Yeah, I love that. I've always wanted our teams to be bigger than 6. I was back in the day. I'd be like, why are we limited to 6? You know, give me 10. Give me 10 slots.
Just like for it to be interesting, I feel like though the Pokemon has to, when it's reborn, be radically different, because like throughout the games, why don't I just give it a revive?
Well, the idea is that, you know, some of them would get
like it needs a power. It needs some sort of power.
It needs to come back.
It needs to go through a transformation,
you know, and do something different.
Yeah,
I think we could look at the Terra League for the Pikachu video that we saw from the Terra League. Like that's what I think about. If that's one version of how it could come back.
So it comes back like Jello.
I mean, for that one.
And the rumor says that they get a stat boost, like a boost to all their stats.
Right.
So
I don't know. I feel like it's got to be more than a stat boost. I feel like it's gotta be something like Soul, what you said earlier, where it's like the Pokemon comes back and say like it's summoned back by a storm, and so not only is the Pokemon back, but now there is some kind of storm that is impacting the environment a little. Because like the one thing like that we've been hearing over and over again about this game is Pokemon impacting the environments and environments impacting the Pokemon, like to the point that the creators of this game or the people working on this game went to the anime people and like yelled at them to make sure that they don't do anything like that in their anime, because they're saving that for Gen 10. So I feel like it makes sense that it's gotta be something about the environment being impacted and how that affects how these Pokemon operate in the battlefields. And the issue is it's hard to think of because there's already so many things like that. Like you have, you know, weather, of course, sun, rain, all that. Yeah. But then also like, I'm honestly wondering if it'll be closer to like the pledge moves. How like if you merge Fire Pledge and or I don't even know that one, but Grass Pledge and Water Pledge creates a swamp, slows Pokemon down. So I feel like it's got to be something. I like that. Maybe in that.
I mean, it could functionally. Yeah, it could functionally be like that. But what I'm thinking about, like lore, especially wise, is like, and even somewhat functionally, mechanic wise, like almost exactly what you're saying, but just to build on it, your Pokemon essentially like faints, and it is reanimated by the weather that this, like, let's say God has control over. So like it's, it's the storm god, so then you're reanimated. Or let's do more practical. It's the volcano god. So
Krakatoa.
your Pikachu faints and it comes back reanimated with lava. Like he's back, but he's like, I'm not really back. I'm just actually got lava in me that's making me do stuff.
I like that a lot because it also provides a choice, and I think that's something really big that gimmicks do too. Is like with a Z move, which of these 4 moves do I want to give my Pokemon a Z Crystal for to power it up? Mega Evolution.
Terrestrialization is so popular because of that.
Yeah, Terrestrialization. I have all my Pokemon. Which one of these 6 will I terrestrialize, and what of the 18 and kind of 19 types will I terrestrialize it into? You know, so I feel like with this one it could be fun too, because it's like, do I want to rebirth it with a thunderstorm, or do I want to rebirth it with a volcanic eruption? Or
the question is like, can you do that mid battle, or do you have to decide that ahead of time? I guess with Terra, you have to decide ahead of time.
I would assume it'd be ahead of time. Megas, Z moves, it's all like kind of ahead of time that you have to.
Yeah, and I could see like as it relates to weather, if something like this was actually the mechanic, as it pertains to weather, I feel like mechanically there are a number of different ways they could go. So it's like if this is what they wanted to do, they could make it work basically.
For sure.
But something I could see is like kind of what you said. So like bringing it back with the weather, because it's like the whole divine godly element. But what I could see specifically for like battle mechanics is like the Pokemon comes back, but it comes back with a specific form of weather that maybe depending on like the type of like item that you give it to do this, it like changes it. So you could bring it back with rain, you could bring it back with sandstorm, you could bring it back with
that's a lot of custom. You're right. Yeah. You have a base weather or a base revival spirit, but then you can customize that further. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because then you can play with stuff, because it's like, let's say you have a Pokemon that you want to give your revival form to, and maybe it comes back with a new revival form that's a ground type, but it's in its base form is like a fighting type or something like that. So you bring it back, but you bring it back with the sandstorm weather. So now not only is it back, it brings in a sandstorm, and because it's ground type, it can't get hit by the sandstorm.
All right, wait, I got an idea. I have not finished Pokopia yet. I'll say maybe no spoilers, but then also I'm thinking I keep meeting Pokemon around my island or whatever, and they just seem to, like, I met Pikachu and she seems to just appear randomly, and Ditto randomly appears, and I'm like, are we being did we all die? Were we reborn? Don't spoil it.
If it helps, all I'll say is it's answered why they just appeared.
Okay, all right, good. And I also wanted to say, like, I just feel like this is so cinematic. I can imagine, like, what's one of the coolest things, most iconic things in the Pokemon anime? To me, I didn't even watch this series, but it's Blaze in Infernape, right? At the end of a battle, right? I mean, they do versions of this without Infernape, but like right at the end of the battle, the Pokemon's strung out. It's like it's not gonna make it. And then it gets a rush of energy to, finish the match and clinch the victory. And I feel like that is kind of like, this would be a really cool adaptation of that into not only the video games, but I'm thinking about the anime, and I'm like, how sick would that be? I think about like the phrase, like, I'm about to, turn the tides of battle. Wait, right? Like I can imagine there's a showdown. It's getting tough. Charizard's about to, or whatever the, Brout is the main Pokemon or whatever. It's like, it's fallen down. Brout has fallen down. He can't get up. And then all of a sudden, thunderclouds in the distance slowly start forming around the Pokemon. Shock of energy comes down. Brout is resurrected. And he's just yoked, right?
Brout is the perfect example.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
truly the perfect.
How the turns tables.
Yeah. How cool would that? It just sounds like a lot of fun. And then also, I do like that idea. I said this earlier, but I do like that idea of, like, in an open world game, you should not have an ultimate win button at the start of every battle. It should be like as you're progressing, like you should like something like this, like Rebirth being tied to, you know, later in a like you'd have to literally be like your health would have had to have been like whittled down or something for this to activate if it functions like that. I like that because it now gives you that option if you need it on your adventure, but you're not going to be compelled to, you know, min-max and just mega evolve every time, you know.
There's only one downside with that I see that like hurts this theory a bit, and it's just like, what do you like? What if you have one Pokemon or you want it to activate, but you like have to get the opponent to hit you essentially, you know, like,
well,
and the opponent
that's what
could
I'm saying.
like refuse to like, you know, like there could be something that
But
goes
see, if
on
they
there
refuse to hit you, then you
Then
are
you won.
going to win. You know, so
Yeah,
I think
that's what I'm saying. It's good.
brings
forcing them out or something, you know.
Yeah, I think
But yeah, Soul's like, but I want to be able to see my Pokemon.
No.
my
I think
Mega
it
or
brings
whatever.
in a ton of just cool strategy like that. And another thing that also helps with strategy is that like you can kind of decide when in the battle you want to bring it out. So like you want to have it be the first Pokemon and just try and hit someone hard with it, or do you want to save it till your very last Pokemon and have it be like a last resort type of thing? And then the other thing that I think is actually also really good is in competitive, there is issues with like basically the mechanics getting just kind of whittled down to a few specific Pokemon and just sort of being over relied on in a sense, I guess you could say. But with it, and that is because like the like players and the trainers, it's like I come out of battle, like I get to choose when I use my Z move, or I get to choose when I Mega Evolve. So it's like it's on me, and of course I'm going to choose to use this superpowered move or this Mega Evolved Pokemon. But now this mechanic, if it worked like this, would flip that, and now it is dependent on your opponent on when you get to use it, because they have to knock out your Pokemon. So it creates this really interesting dynamic of like they have to do it, not you. And
It
how do you
feels-
build around that?
it's fun
It
to
feels
think about.
tied
Like,
to the battle itself. Like it's not, again, it's not that ultimate win button. It's like you need to engage with this in order to activate it. And also it's like it sounds complicated, but I'm like, you're gonna get hit. The Pokemon, the enemies are gonna attack
eventually you will.
It's not like you're never gonna see this.
and if they don't, like, you'll just keep hitting them until you know you win.
And
but,
that's kind of a great strategy too. Like if you have a if you have a reborn Pokemon that's just like it's yoked brow and he's gonna wreck you. Maybe your opponent wants to like stall a little bit and not
Just keep
hit
using
you.
Swords Dance.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I think also
that's the
just
only thing though.
Yeah.
But I see a little issue there.
It's
with
fun
it.
though because like you
I
see
see
in
it.
VGC, like, you know, one thing you have to do when you're switching around is you want to try to predict like, oh, you know, I think he's going to go for protect here, so I'm going to switch because he's not going to attack me. And now you have a flip side of that where it's like, I'm pretty sure he's about to use +3 close combat on me, so I'm going to switch into this so it faints, you know, so I can bring it back.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun thinking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's I think what this also could potentially not solve, but like I think what this honestly, regardless of the rebirth idea, right? But what we've seen from the Terra League, I guess I'm thinking about that Pikachu GIF where Pikachu has a different form. Like
Cello.
I do like the idea.
I literally do not think that that's going to be in the final version.
I don't
Like,
either.
at all.
I don't
Maybe
either.
not.
I think
People
that,
run
like,
with
we're
this.
seeing
I'm like, this is
the
not
most
doing any.
beta version of
It has
something.
in my opinion, it has nothing to do with whatever
Me
the
too.
final thing is going to look like.
It was
Me
like a
too.
test, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
People
like a
run with
test
it.
of like, can we like cause an impact on this Pokemon or something? You know?
Well, I guess what I'm
I
saying
didn't
is
mean to
like
cut you off. But.
no, if they're testing that, I guess what I'm thinking is like, okay, so this idea of having all these different this spectrum of different like physical changes that could happen to your Pokemon, like with all the other gimmicks, the issue is it just kind of is like one thing that happens to all of them, but the design doesn't change unless it gets a new form. And with this, there's a potential for literally every Pokemon to have, you know, maybe 7 different physical changes and color changes to their design, right? It's still limited in their specific effects. Because I thought I thought terrestrialization could have been so sick when we were talking about like a Pokemon with a new type, and then we were like, maybe it's an aura, and then we were like, oh, it's a crystalline form. That is cool, except for the hat is stupid. And so I like the idea of like a Pokemon being reborn in a variety of different ways. And sure, maybe the Pikachu is a red flag. Maybe that's just like not going to be what it is. But like, if there are these different effects that can happen to these Pokemon, they're going to have to show them in some way. And I feel like, I mean, I don't know. There's a bunch of other images and videos and assets from the Terra League that show that Generation 10, they're doing some cool stuff. I don't know what the technical term of it is, but like all these wind effects and these like wave, it's like physics that they're creating. Mm-hmm. I think they could also, like what that Pikachu GIF is to me is a test of like, how can we alter, like, you know, how can we procedurally alter these Pokemon models in a way that we could, you know, we could, you know, like how could we do this to kind of make it represent a specific power up? So what we saw with Pikachu is like one of maybe a lot of them.
That totally could be, like, I could see that. I feel like that's not like a big change. It's just like that their bodies are doing something a little different. But I like that you pulled this up because I was gonna ask you to pull this up. But I think like it could be something like this where each Pokemon, like every Pokemon gets the Hagamoto, I think is what Hagoromo. Yeah. That's that thing around them. But then like it would fall in line with all of the other gimmicks that like then the main Pokemon can get like a Pokemon can get a form instead.
That is cool.
Dynamax
like
and Gigantamax.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I do like this. That's kind of cool.
But your thought is interesting as well, because then each individual Pokemon would have like an effect on them instead of like just a thing on them. But it could be either or. I do think I'm not saying this
Pikachu, like the Goopy Pikachu is like a cool design. I'm just saying
right.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's if it's one of 7, there could be a version of this Pikachu that's, you know, of the effect where it makes them like skinny and tall and slender. There could be one where it makes them like
shivering.
Yeah, I don't know, like super like jagged. And maybe Soul's like, I love these freezing ones because it makes every Pokemon sharp. I like
the ice type now.
You know, it could make one of them like turn into like a block. I don't know. Like I'm just
no, absolutely. They could be something like that.
They could be goopy or in a different way, like drippy, like Ditto.
They become Pokemon Quest. Like the models from that game.
No, I hate that.
They all become Minecraft.
They all become blocks.
I don't know. I think it's I'm excited to see what it is. I think the rebirth really just is perfect.
I mean, we did good here. I think we just made a gimmick. Whether it's the gimmick that's in the game or not, we made a good one. I think.
No, this is good.
To me, this would if it worked as we have discussed, this would rival Mega Evolution for me. Because I think
if they get forms,
I think it's the perfect balance between what Mega Evolution does well, which is give Pokemon new forms and types and designs,
temporary power up,
but then it also allows every Pokemon to use it, and it creates a lot of new battle strategies, and it feels it doesn't feel like it would be like unbalanced or that you could like abuse it or whatever. Like it just feels and just like the concept is really cool. So it just ticks all the boxes for me personally.
Yeah.
I think I can I cook for us just 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Sorry. I think the one thing I want for the Generation 10 gimmick is some sort of power up that works for every single Pokemon. But every single Pokemon that uses this power up gets a how would you say it? It would get a power up that is proportional or like is dynamic depending on what stage it's at and where its stats are. So like a baby Pokemon could use like if it like with Mega Evolution, every single Mega gets 100 stat points. My idea is okay, but if a baby Pokemon gets that, it's like 150 stat points or whatever is the correct percentage to make that baby Pokemon with the gimmick just as viable in its own way, because it wouldn't have the same exact stat spread, but like as, you know, like Pikachu, and Raichu could all utilize a Gen 10 gimmick to make them all viable in their own way. That way you could truly go through this Pokemon game, which we might have for another 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And use your favorites.
I think though that there's an easier way to do that, like without touching the stats, because like, you know, some Pokemon are already gimmicks out the window better than their final evolved form. You know, looking at Porygon 2 and Chansey.
Yeah, but that's
So-
that's only with. Sure. Yeah.
But so I'm thinking like, you know, you need to do just something special for them that it doesn't have to be stats. Like I remember with Z moves, Eevee actually became popular in like the Z move era because it had a really good Z move, you know? So I don't even think it has to be stats so long as they got to have like their own gimmick. Like they got to have something a little special that they do.
Sure.
Not just a buff in stats, but something that they do that the other Pokemon are not doing. And I think
that definitely
True.
That definitely would be better. I guess I just in the, you know, if I'm bargaining, there's so many more like that's there are so few Pokemon that are better than their evolutions, and it's become because of very specific niche reasons. Like Dusclops is better than Dusknoir because of a Violite, and I don't even think that's that competitive, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, Porygon 2 would definitely disagree.
Well, Porygon 2 is great because of a Violite, right?
It is, yeah, but like,
yeah,
it's good, you know.
No, I know it's good, but like, what about Porygon? What if Porygon is your favorite?
Yeah, I get
it's
that.
Outclassed by
the
Porygon
only
2.
The only issue is even if you do like the added stat bonus for Porygon's rebirth form, it's still probably going to be better to use no matter what, unless you make that Porygon have its own kind of gimmick. It's going to be better to use Porygon Z anyways, because they're going to be proportionate in the rebirth forms, sure, but what about when they're not in rebirth? Okay, well, Porygon 2 is still better than Porygon. You know?
Yeah, but I think I hear what you're saying.
To
me, this just sounds like a better solution.
I think
I think there could be. Yeah, I don't know. My vision is: can I use literally? I don't know. Like, pick your favorite Pokemon that's not final evolved. I don't know. Like,
I mean, apparently you love Tangela. That's what
I do like Tangela.
Frigibax.
Bring it.
Right? Like, yeah. Like, if I want to use Tangela, I'm out of luck. You know?
I think one of these days that will be one of the gimmicks, but I don't know if it's this one. I mean, who knows? Because we don't really know what the gimmick is.
It can't be this one because they have to give Charizard something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of do, actually.
I think that's kind of like, that almost sounds like a separate idea, but I think that would be another really good idea because it follows the idea of, here's this core concept, let's mess with it. So like the core concept is evolved Pokemon are stronger than weak Pokemon, so let's make the weak Pokemon just as strong so you can play with anyone.
Yeah, I think that will happen one day. I'm just not too keen on it being this. I do want to say, though, with all of the nitty-gritty things that we're talking about, with it being, not that this gimmick doesn't have to be balanced or anything, but I do think that there's a small little part of this in my mind, and hopefully this doesn't open a can of worms, that because of champions, we might not need this gimmick to be so heavily I don't know, not VGC, but just competitive based. Like it might have more liberties that it can take. It can take like more liberties in general. It still has to be applied to champions one day, so it still has to function in a certain way. But I just think like because the game might not be so competitive focused and more just like on the player experience, it will be balanced. I'm just saying maybe it has much more freedom to be something.
I think definitely, because like, I mean, you see it right now with Mega Evolution, right? Like it is going to function differently in champions. It's going to function in champions presumably
very true.
The same way that it functioned in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Sun and Moon, X and Y, and it functions differently from that in Legends ZA.
Completely different in ZA. Yeah.
I think you will see that. Like I think this gimmick will, however it works and wins in waves, will not be indicative of how it's going to work in champions.
Which I think that's exciting.
That is exciting.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree.
Like I feel like there's a lot of things that are, man, I don't know. I like that a lot. I like the separation between competitive in these mainline games. I want the mainline games to be RPGs first, battle simulators second, and or just not at all.
That's what Champions does. That's why it's such
I know.
A great idea.
That's good. Just get that out of my game. That feels great.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. It just gives so much more creative liberty. I think it's one less thing that they're having to work with every time they like that must have been so annoying. You know, every time you do something, you have to go, oh wait, but now this Pokemon can do this, and you know, like they had to remove Shedinja from Scarlet and Violet. Like they can't have him in there because Air Balloon Shedinja with the electric Terra type, it doesn't get hit by anything except like weather, you know?
Exactly.
So you just avoid that kind of stuff altogether. And if you want Shedinja in your game, you can have Shedinja in your game. I think that's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
That's so good.
But no, do we think on the gimmick, do we think that the name will kind of, because there's been, I don't know if it's a pattern. I mean, it is a pattern. I don't know if it's an intentional pattern, but the names of gimmicks have been Mega, then Z, which Zeta, then you have Dyna, and also Gigantamax would come from Giga, and then now you have Terra. So would this gimmick maybe take a name from, I forget what those terms are like. Data storage naming conventions. I think it's something else too, not just data storage.
Isn't the next one petabyte after terabyte?
I think peta.
What is it? What is it? Storage?
Like storage. like digital storage. So you have gigabyte, terabyte.
Digital storage units.
Yeah, because they're digital monsters.
That's full circle.
Wow, that's
It's full circle.
You guys got to watch our Secret Power episode. Our Secret Power
look up
members exclusive.
Type in units afterwards, and it'll probably give you a list.
Look up what the next thing is after a terabyte.
I will say I don't know if I buy this too much because I think that Z moves specifically kind of throws the theory out a little bit because I think Z moves is for Zenith. It's like it's for Zenith instead of Zeta or Zeta.
People say it's Zeta because like that's kind of how it's pronounced in some parts of the world. But also too, I feel like this is the Fire Zodiac thing, the Chinese Zodiac thing, where it's like maybe it's real, maybe it's not, but it's only real until they decide, okay, we're bored. And they want to do
I think we will find out with
I want to say something
generation.
about that really quick. And because everyone is like, oh, that's proven false. It was never a thing. You're stupid for ever believing it. Well, have you ever considered that it actually was a thing because it was more or less consistent for 8 generations? And then they eventually just decided, we don't want to limit ourselves to these last 4 options. So we're going to move on from this. It can be both ways. It can be they're not doing it anymore, but it was also a thing. Because it's
totally agree. Because it makes sense, right? That you would eventually change it because, like, for one, what happens when you've used them all? Do you go back and do the wheel again? But also, it makes sense that you would change it because I don't want my fans to know, well, the only one they haven't done is snake, so the next starter is a fire snake. I don't want you to know that. I need to change direction at some point if I want to keep my fans surprised.
Yeah, and you can't tell me that, like, it was 8 generations where it was consistent before it eventually fell off. So it was basically like over 20 years of it being consistent. Like, that's not a coincidence. You can't tell me just because one after 25 plus years is wrong that the whole thing was never a thing at all. Like, it
for what it's worth,
as far as I'm concerned, it was, and they just decided to maybe move on. And
for what it's worth, best argument I've heard is Fuecoco is a crocodile. Male crocodiles are called bulls.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, but it's dead now.
But,
it's dead now.
But
unless they redo it.
We all know it's a horror.
The dog is in the Chinese Zodiac. So it's like you can't.
Yeah, unless they redo it. But
Anyways.
Yeah,
right,
I actually
we'll calm down over there.
on that I actually believe the water one more.
Some of these things I hear, I just hear and I get really heated, but I have nowhere to let it out, and so here is
this is why
where
this is a
I can let it out.
This is it.
Because Soul just said he believes the water one, but I think the water one has always been fake.
No,
It's
the water
the
one's
biggest
pretty
stretch.
solid.
Quackleval uses the weapon of dance.
Yeah. Quackleval's the biggest stretch.
He's Serial Pharrell.
I mean, when
I don't know, Swampert's the biggest stretch. People are like,
they're all
when
sketches.
Inteleon is literally
Crocodile is brass knuckles? No. What? No.
When Inteleon is literally like a sniper.
I mean,
and
yeah,
it's gigantic.
That's true. That's true.
That's pretty obvious.
That's true. Yeah, that's okay. You got
some of them
one.
fit into it. I'm not like Swampert doesn't even use his fans. There's just like, so I just don't.
It's just part of the design, though. It's not like they have to use the weapon.
I think they do.
Yeah.
I think he's the only one that doesn't.
I would think for alligator is like one like that I would question. Like,
Yeah, it is a little bit questionable, that's for sure.
Shout out to Cuckoo Art, Pablo Cuckoo on Twitter. They were the one who drew up that reference Pikachu image that we had on the screen for like 20 minutes. Do you guys have anything else on the topic of Gimmick? Otherwise, I'd like to talk about a couple more things today.
Well, what do you think of the name?
What else you
what you think the name is going to be?
I thought we talked about that already. Hold on, reopen, close tab. So we've got Mega, we got Mega forms, we got Gigantamax form with Giga, Terastallization with Terra. I almost want to say, what's the other one? And then Z moves. It could have been the Zeta moves, but they just changed it to Z. That's like, you can bend it, right?
Right.
That's why we got on this. You can bend
it. The Brits pronounce that as Zeta,
Yeah.
What is it? It's Zed. It's Zed.
Zed, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So close enough.
We have Kilo, PETA.
Kilo would be good.
Because you have
feel
to
like
kill them for the form to come back.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's like K moves or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So they don't actually say
K
kill
forms.
or anything.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm looking
K-pop
at the
forms.
maybe the Q, maybe the Y, because it kind of wraps around the. I'm trying to think about like the shape of this thing right here. The shape of the it's like it's Omega, right?
It is very Omega shaped as well.
Yeah, sure.
So Q is not that far off. I mean, the letter looks like a, or maybe an upside down Y with Yoda.
I have no idea for this.
Yoda.
Like I said, I don't really buy it too much. So I mean, it could be one of these, and then if it's not, then it could be anything.
I don't think there's much to buy.
If
I
it's
just
one
think
of
it's
these,
like a
then
coincidence.
If it is one of these, though, then that theory is definitely like.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. I think if it's not, then it deconfirms it for me, and then if it is, it confirms it. Like we're at the breaking point here of this theory.
Yeah, 3
again,
makes it a
like
pattern.
Hoops was
4
saying
makes
with
it
the Chinese zodiac, if it does make it, it's still like it doesn't mean like
The
that
rest weren't.
it's going to keep
Forever.
on doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, we know specifically that, like, I mean, they obviously love patterns because they've put a bunch of patterns in all their games and how they do stuff. But then we also specifically know that they like to go the opposite way to what we're thinking because they want to do the unexpected thing. So that's literally like, we know they do both. We know they like to think in patterns, but also do different things. So
yeah, agreed.
All right, let's. Do you have something else?
What else did you want to talk about, Dusty? Because I was going to go into like how this kind of ties into the legendaries.
Yeah,
but...
let's do that next. Let's take a quick break and then we'll talk about the legendaries. Yeah, that's great. But first, I gotta tell you guys about our classic, our best-selling merch collection, Hidden Legacy. This is a beautiful design by our in-house guy, Noivi, aka Anthony. This man is a legend, but he whipped up this gorgeous design for us. It comes in a variety of colors, and on the back of the shirt, this design encapsulates all sorts of inside jokes, and I guess not even jokes. They're not jokes, but they're just they're things that are, I guess, what's the word? An ode to, right? In legacy to, or in respect of. Come on, guys, help me out.
They're all just
I'm drowning
things
over
that
here.
are important to us. I mean, just look at it. You've got mons that we hold dear, right? You've got Soul's Ultra Necrozma. You have my Dragonite. You have Dusty's Cherubi even on
Bro,
there.
we
S tier
need a
Pokemon.
solo Cherubi shirt. I gotta talk to Noivi about that. Honestly, I kind of forgot about this, but you got the Pokemon Snap camera up top. That's a classic Hidden Power moment right there. And at this point in time, both Soul and I have played a little bit of Pokemon Snap, so this is kind of a retro design at this point, being a thing. But anyways, this, like I said, this last summer we had this created to really just kind of like capture not only the legacy of the show, but also just a lot of the designs, but also the colors that we chose were really in service to or meant to remind. They're in the spirit of the summer, right? To me, it reminded me of when we designed this. I was I was in Maine. I was on the coast, right? I'm living it up. Summer nights, you know, I'm living it up with the sea breeze in the air, right? Sand in my toes, right? What's that old song? Sand in the my bum's in the water, in the sand, toes in the sand,
Toes in the water, bum in the sand.
Oh yeah, you don't know. Well, who sings that?
Is this
I
not?
have
Is that
no
is that
idea.
Jimmy Buffett?
It sounds like a Jimmy Buffett song.
I don't think that's Jimmy Buffett. No.
No, who is it? Anyways, whatever. It was a gorgeous
Zach Brown
summer.
Band?
Yes, the Zach Brown band. And this, listen, summer's upon us, and I'm so excited to get back into the vibes of the summer. I'm really excited here on the East Coast to enjoy the summer, and I hope you are too. If you guys want to support the show, if you want something more tangible than just a Patreon membership, if you want something more tangible than just like, you know, some extra episodes every single month, you can go to shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com. Links are in the description to go to this website, and you can get yourself some new Hidden Legacy merch. We have the shirts. It also comes in a sweatshirt. We should make a ball cap. I don't think we've made a ball cap of this design yet, but we also have a stainless steel bottles available. And yeah, I just love this whole collection so much. There is, of course, so many other designs on the store, so feel free to browse around and get something for yourself, get something for your spouse, or I guess you could say significant other if you're younger than 30. And thank you guys so much. And let's get back to the show. Actually, real quick, last thing on the gimmick. Hoops, you said you had something that you wanted to show us, and I'm kind of excited to see what the heck this is. I think you said that this is something. Did you say it's for me? You were like, you want to see? I'm so confused.
No, so like it's not for you, but as I said, I made a video to kind of like visualize what this reborn form thing could be like. And so, as I do on my channel, I made some designs of reborn forms. And I was looking at Pokemon that would be good to make for reborn forms, and there was one that
let's go.
There was one I came to, and I was like, Dusty is gonna like this. So
Cherubi?
I thought I would show you.
I'm gonna pull it up right now. He sent it to me on Discord.
Yes, it's a
Tangela?
Oh, dude, this is sick.
Wait, we can't see it.
I know. I'm pulling it up. Open link. Bro,
Oh.
this is sick.
So
We got a
works
reborn
with the
Stoutland.
symbol.
yeah,
Dude,
so
this is so sick. You've incorporated the what are we calling this thing?
the
This
forget
the
the name.
Benji?
Hagoromo, that's what it's called. But
Hagoromo.
I looked for Pokemon.
Loxton was calling it something else. This is so sick, dude.
I looked for Pokemon that like that actual symbol would like work well with their body. So like Stoutland, its mustache kind of wraps into that. And then the idea with this one is that when it comes back in this form, it becomes part fairy type as well. So like it gets a type
Nice.
change.
I love this so much, dude.
And yeah, I'm not a Stoutland fan personally, but like I feel like this could be the value of this type of form because like I think this does so much for Stoutland as a Pokemon.
Yeah, this is really, really cool. It
So-
it elevates it from normal dog to like it
God
looks
dog.
legendary.
The
dude.
idea was
and I
looks
love
God
the
dog.
idea was
Yeah,
all
God
dogs
dog.
go to heaven. So that was kind of like I was like,
Yeah,
Ah,
dude, this is so
that's
good.
funny.
You know what I love about this also, like just the outlines are not black, but the outlines are this like mystical color. So are you making a bunch of these for a video?
yeah. So this is gonna be my video that will be out when this drops. So go watch
So
it.
sick.
But it's at the time of
I
this
will.
recording, it'll be this weekend, and there's several
Awesome,
more
dude.
of these. So
You have more of these,
have
dude. I
more of
cannot
them,
wait to
yes.
see. This is so sick.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah.
This is so
I'm
sick.
excited.
Ah,
Maybe you'll
dude,
sell
this
me
is-
on the rebirth forms.
Yeah, man, this is dope.
I
that's
want
so
it now, but-
I
cool.
think like I said, I think if it works in this fashion, for me, it would compete with Megas for like the best gimmick.
Yeah.
I think it would
Yeah.
be cool. So
And I like the idea that they're all themed in a certain way because megas are obviously, I mean, they don't really have a theme. It's just more of the
Just
Pokemon.
make the Pokemon more.
Yeah, but I like how what you did with this is you took the concept and you still like it gets a new design, but it's based on like it. Yeah,
It's based
It's
on
It's
the
based
thing.
on the concept of being reborn.
yes,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like
this is
it's
sick.
like obviously with new forms, we want the design to change. That's what we want as
Yeah.
Pokemon fans. We want to see this Pokemon with a new form that actually changes and isn't just like a subtle thing that doesn't
Right.
amount to anything. So
Yeah,
with this, I wanted to like obviously actually change the body, which is why I incorporated the symbol into the actual body versus doing something like Terra where you just give it a crown. Like
this genuinely excites me for getting like gimmick forms in Generation 10, and I'm just gonna be so disappointed if we don't, like, we do like another Terra thing and like there's a gimmick but it just doesn't have any forms at all to it. Now if they give us like a lot of Pokemon, I'll be happy either way, but
I
it's
want
like
the Dynamax thing. Like every Pokemon
It's, like,
can do it.
themed,
Some
though.
Pokemon have this
right,
specific
100%.
form
Yeah.
that they have access
right,
to.
but like Pokemon or forms like Megas, they don't have like a theme like
Yeah.
this, and like
Yeah.
like Gigantamax did. Like Gigantamax had like a more of like a goofy theme thing going on. Is a bit lighter than this. I'll say like this is very themed around this, and I love that. I think that they should do something like that.
Totally
And
agree. Hoops, you did such a good job
This
on
is really cool.
Thank you. I will say to your point, Soul, that I'm hopeful personally for that, just because we know that they likely were going to do terraforms and they just like cut it, because we have like terraform Terapagos, we have Ogerpon. There was evidence that Koraidon and Miraidon were going to get one, but they just didn't for whatever reason. And there's there's data, if I'm not mistaken, that suggests that. And then also, like, I feel like one reason why they might not have done that is because they did Paradox Pokemon, which were kind of like that game's form, which this game isn't going to have in all likelihood. I mean, they won't have Paradox Pokemon, but they likely will not have something similar to that. So
Right.
I think I'm hopeful for it for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, I love this so much. Great job on this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's segue now to some more art that you've created on your channel. Go check out Hoops. He's linked. I guess he's tagged. He's a collaborator on this video. But you also made some legendary Pokemon you made some designs for the legendary Pokemon of Winds and Waves, which I think is really, really cool. But yeah, let's talk about the legendary Pokemon. Who wants to start off?
I think Hoops should start us off.
Yes,
with
since
his
we're
art.
looking at these, you can give us a little.
First off, I want to say shout out to Argray Wind. He's the artist that like draws my concepts, so he does a great job. But basically, these were just based on the leaks / rumors, I guess you could say. They're basically just leaks of the idea that these guys are going to be based around an old man and an old woman. But it is actually kind of going in with like rumors and speculation too, because there's a theory, I guess you could say, going around that these legendaries will be based on the Naga, which are divine serpent entities in what is it, Hinduism? It's basically just like Southeast Asia, that area of the world. But the idea is that they are divine and they are half serpent, half human. So it goes with the old man woman vibes pretty well, I think. And so I kind of just formulated these designs around that. And then obviously Winds and Waves as themes, which works well and kind of convinces me of the Naga idea, because if they're snakes, they can like create the shape of winds and waves pretty well, which is kind of what we're doing here.
2 months ago, we did like literally a 2-hour podcast all about snakes. And it's funny because I don't think we thought about the legendary Pokemon once. We were just like regional forms and new evolutions for snakes and convergent snakes.
It also makes sense too, because that the trailer like ended, or not ended, but it right before it went down and showed like the dive thing. It in the sky, you could see everyone, their cousins, pointing this out. There's this like serpent like shape in the cloud. So I think like, you know, a serpent legendary does make a lot of sense. I also like how you can kind of almost loosely see how these could shape like the gimmick, you know, these legendaries that you have like shaped like the gimmick symbol. Another effect of it being a serpent, I suppose, is that it can do that. But,
the crazy thing is that what Dusty was just on, I didn't see it, and I don't think we saw it originally, but I went back and I was like, they showed us. So they showed us Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4. You know, they showed us all the generations.
In the
and then they showed
Pokemon
Gen 10
trailer.
Yeah, they showed artwork of Gen 10. And like, so like why didn't we look at that closer? So I went back and I was like, let's look at this closer. And someone in my replies pointed out that same cloud is in that artwork. And it isn't exactly the same, though, to me. It looks like a little different. A lot of people think it's Gyarados. It does look
way more like Gyarados than what we see in the trailer.
Right, I agree.
Like, undeniably.
But why would they put a Gyarados in the sky twice? Like, unless maybe Gyarados could be like the mascot for this gimmick in the same way Lucario's like the mascot for Mega Evolution.
Ooh, I mean, dude, I like that because it's water flying type.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Just don't make so much sense. Oh my god.
Yeah. It could swim and fly.
Yes and no, though, because I don't know. It's like, it's still Gyarados. I mean, it's not like Lucario levels. I don't know, but Lucario was introduced. I don't know.
I think Gyarados is pretty popular.
I'm not sold on it. Especially this one doesn't look as much like Gyarados to me. It changes shapes a lot. Anyway, you can tie it to the gimmick very hardcore, because that's why I was going to like segue into this, because all of those artworks, each one with each generation has an artwork of the generation and then their gimmicks in the artwork. So this is 100% related to the gimmick. The question is it
Don't
the
you
legendary?
Have the trailer, Dusty? You could show it.
It's right here. Oh, of the
I was saying like how it shows off the gimmicks.
The question is it the legendary, like, making the gimmick? You know, like, there's no rhyme or reason. Like, I originally started out thinking this is the third legendary. It's like in control of the gimmick. You know, like, it's a snake kind of thing. So it's just one legendary that is in control of the gimmick. But with the titles being winds and waves, and that possibly being connected to the two legendaries themselves, the box legendaries, they could be the creators of this specific gimmick in this sense. And they could be two snakes. And the difference with these two is one is a dark cloud and one is like a not rain cloud. You know what I mean? One's a rain cloud, the other one's not a rain cloud. So it's like, I don't know. They could be two serpentine box legendaries. You know, one's more. This one doesn't have like a fishtail. The other one has a fishtail. So this one's got like, I see it a different way than other people are seeing it, I think. Whiskers and such.
Help me out. I do have
Mega Ring in the bottom left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when you look through all these, it'll have their gimmick.
The Mega Ring.
Where's the Mega Ring?
Plate,
oh, okay, right
there. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So there is a Mega Ring in the Kalos one.
Literally the Alola.
Z Crystal.
The Z Crystal. Okay.
The Dynamax thing.
Dynamax one's obvious.
Dynamax.
And then the Terra
Crystal. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then, but those are all objects. But I guess.
But they can't give it to us right away. Here, it's just like a tease.
Oh, the chair looks like that band.
Stop it
around Pikachu.
Stop it.
Kind of does.
I'm not even. That's not a joke.
I see it.
Only.
That
I
chair,
love Hoops' reaction because it's just like so right.
I want to say something really quick.
That's crazy.
I think this cloud also being in the artwork does convince me a little more, but this whole conversation reminds me of what we were doing back in Sun and Moon when they showed the Alola region map. People were looking at the clouds and they were like, I see Ho-Oh and Lugia. What does this mean? And it like meant nothing. So
that's how I feel a little bit. Now that we this podcast started, like I've lived now through Arceus, BDSP, Gen 9, the DLC and ZA, and it's insane to actually witness, and it's starting to sink in all of the speculation that is wrong. So I feel like I'm starting to get a better barometer of what's like.
Oh, that's
like
it's all about the fun of
keep playing the video, Dusty, because if that chair that Pikachu's in is different from the actual chair by the desk, you had it.
That's funny.
This chair 100%. It looks like the.
If it's different from the real life chair, like it's about to pan out and show you the chair.
Yeah, this is just
I'm not coping.
If it's different, you're right.
I'm not betting my house on it. I'm just saying
I want to say
as we talk about it, it's right there. It's so
won't
obvious.
show us the chair.
All right, that's it. That's the show.
I want to say though that it's interesting that they're using a cloud in that artwork, because what is a cloud? It's a thing in the sky that is water. Like that's winds and waves. Like that's both of them.
Yes.
So what better way
where's the
to
chair?
encapsulate it?
I think you're 100% right. A cloud makes sense.
That's
dude,
why I think it is
a
possible.
The
is
gimmick
possible.
is going to be about clouds, not necessarily like what is. It's okay in the Terra
It's
League.
weather based.
We say it's weather based. That was the interpretation, but that's a cloud. It's just clouds.
Well, the whole thing is like the clouds turn dark and a lightning bolt like strikes the Pokemon. And
The chair is
and if something
different. I
dies,
repeat.
it's reborn with its
The
molecules
chair
are
is different.
injected. Where's the chair? I don't see the chair.
Very beginning of the trailer.
Lumi
Very
went back and watched it while we were talking.
Very
no chair.
beginning of the trailer. No, very beginning of the trailer.
Oh,
You're a
in the
minute into
beginning.
the trailer. That's a different chair.
Yeah, but that's not what they depicted in the picture.
That's what I'm saying. It's different from the one in the picture. That picture, you're right. The chair was shaped like the Gimmick logo. I'm with you. I'm fighting for
everyday-
you, Dusty.
It's an everyday chair.
I'm going to
Oh my God.
apologize to the Hidden Power audience for this.
What?
Oh, they know by now. They know by now.
You don't need to apologize. They're here.
that's
They love it. This is why they subscribe.
Hey,
back one?
I'll say something.
You're a
If
listener.
the chair proves to be significant, I will.
You heard it here first.
I don't know. I'll come on the
Eat a chair.
podcast and do something ridiculous. Like I'll give you I
Denying
will
me.
make it worth your while. But
Yeah, okay.
I'm not buying.
Yeah. Disagreeing with my flawless theories is the first ridiculous thing you did.
I was trying to see if any other chairs in the other artworks were like symbols to
It's the chair.
gimmick.
It's the chair.
It's like in this one there's a chair, but it has nothing to do with Paldea at all.
Actually, if it does, if you look, the chair has 4 lines. Nah, I don't know.
I was like, there's no way he turns this on a dime. Anyway, I think that it's very possible to be different. There's different options, right? They could be the box legendaries. They could be like just 1/3 legendary. I do think it's notable that there's a snake in that cloud and then one at the end. It's like one at the beginning and one at the end. And then
Facing each
right after you see the first one, you see Mr. Wavy Chew and Miss Windy Chew or whatever. And it's like, okay, well,
Put some
they could be
respect on
them.
that name. You could say it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Mr. Windy Chew and Miss Wavy Chew. Stop saying it like it pains you.
It does because
it did
I can't,
pain
my
me a
brain
little
doesn't.
bit. It
I'm
pained
like,
me a little
"Ugh."
bit, but I'm getting used to it.
But you know what I mean? There's a few little connections that you can make some theories off of at least.
Listen, okay, I got another one. Their eyes are kind of shaped
Oh.
like the Omega symbol upside down.
And you're losing me.
No, look at his. What do you mean? It's a circle, and then they spin out to the side.
I thought this was huge. I thought it was huge. The snake in the sky still.
I think
I
so.
thought it was
No,
like,
it
okay,
is.
this is
Doing
this
it
is like
twice
confirming
shows
this.
that's
Yeah.
something big.
Yeah, because if some people might look at it and be like, "Oh yeah, it's just a cloud like sun and moon," but when they do it twice, the same kind of shape, the same like it's there.
I
I'm like,
didn't
okay,
notice
this is
it.
definitely something.
I did not notice it in the painting at all.
I did not either.
No, me either.
No.
Until I had somebody point it out
I
to me,
didn't
I was like,
until
"Oh,
just the second when y'all showed me.
yeah."
That's kind of insane. That is kind of insane.
To me, they look like two different shapes, personally. But
Adding to that, the chair.
They're both sky serpents.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's one thing, Hoops, since you mentioned the Naga, they look exactly like, and this is why a lot of people are like, it's just the gimmick. It's not like an actual Pokemon, but they look exactly like what Indonesian Naga look like. In that thread, maybe Dusty, I might have posted underneath it what, like, not this one, but the one, no, actually this one. I think it was that one. Go scroll down one more. Oh, dang, I don't know if I actually had it. That right there.
Right here.
That's what the Indonesian
It's a
classic
serpent. Yeah.
Naga, but the
That's what we're
wave,
looking at with
the
those two.
waviness of it, and the exact part of where its head is at, and everything. Like, to me, I'm sold. It's a Naga no matter what. But I just don't know if it's the third legendary or two separate ones.
Well, one thing
It
that
looks exactly like the chair.
One thing that I found when I was making these designs is that in Hinduism specifically, there's something called the Nagaraja, which are the king of the Nagas. So they're like the top of the top. And there's specifically 3 of them. So like that could make out for a legendary trio really nicely.
That'd be insane. Because obviously they changed some things about them. I feel like only one of them would have arms, the other one would have like a fishtail. You know, like things like that where it's
And
they changed
I,
like quite a bit.
I love a lot of the legendary Pokemon. I think they're like all really, really good designs. But like, again, I've been thinking about the wait, and I've been thinking about how Generation 10, like it will have taken us 5 years to get to Generation 10. I'm expecting now Generation 10 to take another half decade, to last another 5 years, and I've been thinking about how like all the little classic things that we love about a Pokemon game, I'm expecting Generation 10 to kind of just like to not play it safe, but to return to a lot of familiar things like 2 Dragon Box Legends. Not that we haven't had that, it's not that we haven't had plenty of that already, but like I want 2 Dragon Serpents to be the box art legends. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny. I don't know if I actually want it. I love the idea because I love serpents, but I'm
if
like,
you want to be technical, that's not classic Pokemon. They didn't do that.
Yeah,
until Gen 4.
we just had that.
Sure.
This is the thing that is the most detrimental to this theory, which is we just had 2 lizards, and technically, I was going to say Iron Serpent. Iron Serpent, who is what is his name? Miraidon is technically Iron Serpent, which is like also a snake kind of thing. So
yeah,
that's the biggest plot hole, whatever you want to call it, hole in this theory. That we just had that. And I would prefer something like a bat and a lion instead, but you know,
third legendary.
I think we put too much.
Because usually the third legendary is the one that's tied to the gimmick, right? Terapagos, not Koraidon or Miraidon's the creator of Terrastol, and you have Necrozma being connected to the not Solgaleo and Lunala. Same thing, Eternatus, not Zacian Zamazenta. So maybe
I was thinking they could just do it different this time, though. They could change it up.
And the snake, like it makes sense that the snake could be still a hint at the third legendary. Because we were seeing Terapagos' eyes on the Terra crowns, if you will, for a whole year.
All I'm saying is, like, you're right. This isn't classic in terms of, like, Generation 1. But I guess, to me, it feels... I guess what I'm saying is, like, I just feel like there's going to be a lot of really cool, epic... Like, sometimes we get Pokemon games, and they're weird, and they're goofy, and they take risks. I feel like we're going to get a lot of, like, good stuff. Like they've had 5-6 years to develop Pokemon designs and to plan out this new game. I feel like, I think they're going to cook it. I don't know. It just feels, I don't know. You tell me what seems like cooler to put on the cover of a box, like a
Mr.
deer
Windy-Chew
and a crow and a bacon crow, or 2 Naga dragons.
You picked the wrong
Mr. Windy
duo,
Chew
man,
and Miss Wavy Chew.
No, those are the words. I never want to hear about them again.
Those aren't going to be on the box art.
I'm just saying you picked the wrong ones because Xerneas and Yveltal are like literally the coolest legendaries.
Yes, they are cool. I'm not saying they're not cool, but what I'm saying is like you put 2 dragons on a cover, I feel like that's going to sell. I don't know.
I don't know. I think people are a little like kind of burnt on the double.
I think 2 dogs or 2 dragons.
I think there's.
If you want to be technical, they've only done the 2 dragons 3 times. So 33% of Pokemon games actually have dragons on the covers.
I think there's also
Gen 4, Gen 5, and Gen 9. That's it.
Yeah, but then you have like 4 Charizard games. You got Rayquaza.
Yeah, but that's not 2 dragons. That's Charizard and a frog.
Rayquaza's a frog?
But
no, I was saying Venusaur, Charizard and Venusaur.
No, Rayquaza. You have got Giratina.
Yeah, but that wasn't
You've
the
got
main
Reshiram, Zekrom. You got times 2. Like, there's a lot of dragons.
Okay, there are 4 generations out of 5 that do actual dragons.
Charizard.
What were you saying, Hoops? I want to hear what Hoops.
I was gonna say there are ways that they can make these. I think different enough to like Koraidon and Miraidon to where it can work.
Yeah.
Because obviously snakes are different than lizards. They can also, I talked about this in my video, because we just had dragon type box art legendaries, they could easily go like psychic type or something like that. Just make them more mystical and just like not worry about the dragon type as much. So I feel like it's a pretty good option.
Yeah, I think it's a good option. Also, they're water. Also, it's wind and wave versus electric and
they could also just be pure water, pure flying. That's not as exciting.
Yeah, that's true.
But they could.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it's true.
We talked about it. There's like a bajillion snakes from this region.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a million that they can choose from to be inspired by. And I love snakes. Like aesthetically as Pokemon. They're incredible, and we need more of them. So I would be so down no matter what. Personally,
Yeah, I think that a snake is likely is what I was trying to say. It makes sense that we would get if there are going to be a lot of snakes. Like it's okay to do one as the. I mean, you saw Korodon, Miraidon, they're lizards, but we still got Cyclozar, and albeit he was tied to them. I don't know. I think the math is math. It's going to be a snake. If nothing else, the third legendary is totally a snake. Because
which is
right.
Good.
It'd be weird if it was
epic.
A serpent that they're depicting in the clouds twice now, and then nothing to do with that.
There's the whole theory that the cloud is like the upside down symbol, the upside down symbol of the.
I think there's a Stranger Things upside down theory. I'm like,
You haven't heard the Stranger Things upside down theory?
Like I'm a little crazy, but that sounds insane.
You call yourself
Did you know there was an
Pokemon
upside down?
YouTuber?
Yeah,
there is an upside down in Pokemon. It's called the Mega Dimension.
Yeah,
that's not the upside down though. That's
it's remarkably similar.
It's the dream world.
I also hope.
All right, Hoops. I think we got to get you out of here. Do you have any final thoughts?
Yes, I was going to say really quick. I hope that they do a third legendary, and I hope it's like volcano land themed, because there is obviously the big volcano, and I think that would just be really cool. So
it makes too much sense.
And also, a volcano is erupting fire into the sky. It is also erupting smog and it creates when it goes into the water, it creates more land. The islands. Yes. Yep. Exactly.
I do think it will be volcano based, but I can't say that.
Bro, I'm so excited. I am so excited.
I mean, you've got. I'll probably be wrong. If you go from the elite map, there's like a volcano, like a huge volcano on the centermost island, and the center of the Pokemon games usually end up being pretty important, right? Like the center of Legends EA being Prism Tower. That's where the game is kind of revolving around, not just the map but the story. And then Area Zero being the origins of Terrasol. So I think that's solid.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hoops, thanks for being here. Appreciate all of your time today.
Thank you guys for having me.
I'm pretty excited. Oh, we didn't even talk about Eevee. I know you got to jump, but we didn't even talk about Eevee.
Eevee is likely getting something. There's a
team. Dude, I love that everyone's on board with this. I feel like I'm not alone for once. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. What?
Dusty.
What?
Check your Twitter DMs.
Hoops has got to go.
I know. They're real quick.
What?
Okay, hang on 1 second. I need to send it.
I love this game.
The box art just leaked. Wait for it.
What are you doing?
Stop.
You're the worst.
No, get out of here, dude. Get out of here. Oh my god. All right, that's the show today. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. I'm going to be at PAX East. Come see Hidden Power at PAX East in Boston. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.